Hey everyone, I'm Claire Saffitz. Welcome to my home kitchen. Today I'm showing you a recipe for something called Maritozzi. So this is a sort of Italian sweet bun that I've been seeing in bakeries across the country, and I've been dying to make it. It is basically like a little sweet brioche bun that is split and filled with cream. So I'm gonna show you how to put it together, and I'm gonna flavor it with vanilla, which is my favorite dessert flavor of all time. And I wanna thank our partner Halala Vanilla for sponsoring this episode, and let's get into it. Okay, so I recently had this in two places. As I said, this is something that it's kind of like popping up all around the country. I had one in Lodi in New York. It was delicious, just the most perfect bun filled with delicious cream. And then I had one in Los Angeles when I was there back filming our Emma Chamberlain collaboration. This is some smoked paprika. Just go ahead and sprinkle a little bit of that on.
A little bit on, she said.
So I'm really excited to make it because it's components that I've all made before. I just am gonna combine them together in this kind of new way. Plus they look so beautiful. I have already made the brioche dough. So if you wanna see how I make the brioche, check out our brioche donut episode. It is best done in a stand mixer, but the whole process is really hands-off, so I set this up last night. Here I have heavy cream and some mascarpone, equal parts, about a cup each. Typically the filling is just a plain whipped cream, but I am gonna add some mascarpone because I like the kind of density and richness that it adds. Then I have Halala vanilla extract and paste. You could just use one or the other, but I'm gonna use them in two different places in the recipe, one for the syrup and one for the cream. And then I have Demerara sugar and rum that's gonna go into a soaking syrup, a little bit of confectioner sugar to sweeten the cream, and that's really it. A little kosher salt. I did use a stand mixer to put together the brioche, so that I highly recommend, but for the rest of the assembly, I'm just gonna use a hand mixer to whip the cream, and you could do it by hand. So pretty minimal once you have the brioche ready to go. Before we get into the recipe, I want to thank Halala Vanilla for sponsoring this episode. And I started using Halala Vanilla because I knew it was a superior product. I love the beans, I love the paste, and I'm excited to introduce Jennifer Boggess, who is the co-founder and CEO of Halala Vanilla, who came all the way from New Zealand just a couple days ago, and we're lucky to have the timing line up to have her here to talk a little bit about the company because I know it's an amazing story.
Thanks for having me, Claire.
Welcome.
Halala Vanilla was founded by my father, really, after a cyclone tore through a village and he wanted to help them get back on their feet and provide sustainable livelihoods. We partner with over 300 vanilla farmers in the Kingdom of Tonga, and we are really proud to take Tonga's vanilla to the world.
So this is something that I remember from the very first time we met. You should be able to take a vanilla bean, and if you wrap it around your finger, it will spring back.
Just like a ribbon.
Just like a ribbon.
So some of the vanilla beans are like toothpicks and they break when
Right.
you try and wrap them around
Right.
your finger. Vanilla typically takes quite a long ride from the farm to using in someone's kitchen. But Halala Vanilla, we're one of the only direct fair trade vanillas. We're the growers as well as the manufacturers as well as the producers of the products.
You can tell in the product because the beans are so fragrant and like so juicy, and you can they're soft and you can squeeze them and just know that they're filled with seeds. And so I'm really careful to scrape out all the seeds, repurpose the pods for my own vanilla, and then I like to start off my own vanilla with some of your extract because it's so flavorful and it just makes everything taste incredible. Head over to halalavanilla.com and use the code Claire20 for 20% off any regular priced item. And of course, it's perfect for holiday baking, but also makes an incredible gift for the holidays. So this is something I've gifted in the past. There's some specialty extracts on the site, great for holiday baking as well. So check it out. I have this brioche dough that I made last night. So it had this nice slow rise. And the first step to forming the Maritozzi is to portion out the dough and form the buns. I have a scale here. I like using a scale because it ensures uniformity, so I know they'll all be the exact same size. This dough has risen, so I want to take it out of the bowl. It got very, very puffy and it's very light. It got like a little, not like a skin, but it just sort of dried out ever so slightly on the surface, and then the interior is very yellow from the butter. So I'm just going to kind of bring this together, knock out some of the gas. I love brioche, it's so smooth and pillowy. I'm gonna make fairly small buns, so I'm gonna do about 75 grams per portion. So I have my scale here and a bench scraper or bowl scraper, and I'll just go ahead and weigh out 75-gram portions. Oop, too big. Okay, 78, close enough. And then transfer to, I have a lined baking sheet right here. And this is a full recipe of brioche from Dessert Person. And I might not use all of it because I want to just sort of make one sheet tray of buns, but the rest of the dough I'll probably bake off in a loaf. So I'm going to go until I've done about 9 buns.
What are other things you could do with brioche?
Brioche is great just for eating, so I like baking it off in a loaf and then using it for toast or French toast. You could also use it to make pigs in a blanket. Use it as the base for like a fruit tart. That's really lovely. You basically roll it out very, very thin and then stud it with the fruit of your choice.
The best is just to eat it.
Just eat it. There you go.
When was the last time you went to France?
Me?
Yeah.
Literally when I lived there. So that was, I can't believe I'm saying this, it was 10 years ago. So I have 9 portions of dough. I have this little bit left over. I mean, I could just go ahead and portion this into additional buns and bake off another sheet tray, but I think I'll do it in like a little loaf instead. So setting that aside. Now I want to form them. So I'm going to take, obviously these are not going to bake up as is into nice round tall buns. So here's what I want to do. I like to sort of flatten the dough, and I have sort of one smoother side and one side with all the little bits of dough. And I like to kind of roll it up and make a bundle. So I gather all of the ends together. So I have something that looks like a teardrop or a garlic bulb, that kind of thing. Then flip it over. So I have one smooth side. And then this dough is a little bit soft because it's room temperature. Typically I like to work with brioche when it's cold because it's just easier to handle. So it can be a bit sticky, but basically what I do is cup my hand like a claw around the bun. But what you're trying to do is basically tighten the kind of network of gluten around the dough so it sits nice and high and has a really regular round shape. So it's this method of kind of like dragging the dough across the surface until you get something really cute and round like that. If you feel like the dough is just a little bit too soft to work with, you can use your bench scraper or bowl scraper, and you use it instead of your hands to help you form them. And it's the same concept, but really what you're doing is kind of pushing it or pulling it around itself, and you're getting the same kind of thing. So that's how you form the buns. I'm going to go ahead and form all 9 of them, and I'm going to space them out evenly on the baking sheet so they have room to rise. They're going to go into their second rise before we bake them. I have all of the buns formed. We now want to let them rise. So if you can, put them in a room temperature or even slightly warm spot to proof, and I'm going to cover them, sheet tray cover. And so these will proof, I probably take, depending on the temperature, 45 minutes to an hour. They should be nearly doubled in size and super puffy, and then we're going to bake them. So these have been proofing. I set this one up earlier so you can see the size comparison.
They look the same.
No, they don't.
No, they don't, Cal. Tell me they look different on camera.
Wow, those doubled in size.
So these are going to proof, and then these are just about ready to bake off. So I have my oven on 350. I'm going to grab an egg. We're going to bake these. I have 1 large egg. This is my egg wash. Could really use a larger bowl than this. Brioche at this point, it's been sitting out. It's very puffy, filled with air. It's pretty delicate. Brioche is already a soft dough, so you want to be very gentle with the egg wash and not deflate them at all. And I just want a thin coating. So these are going to bake for, I would say, 15 to 20 minutes. I made them on the small size. I just want to bake them until the surface is like deep golden brown and shiny. I'm going to make this vanilla rum syrup, and that's what I'm going to use to soak the buns and just sort of like lightly dab the interiors before I fill them with the cream. So I have my Halala Vanilla extract, Demerara sugar, a little bit of rum, and salt. I'm basically just making a simple syrup. So I'm going to take about a half cup of Demerara. You could just use regular granulated if you wanted to. But I like the sort of like naturally caramelly flavor of the Demerara sugar. Then a half cup of water. A pinch of salt. And I'm gonna warm this on the stove to dissolve the sugar and then come back and add the rum and vanilla. I'm gonna turbo it.
How often do you turbo?
If I'm trying to boil water. Okay. The sugar totally dissolved, so now I have my simple syrup. Transfer it into a glass measuring cup. Now I'm going to add my vanilla and my rum. So I tend to try to not cook the vanilla extract because I think you get more of the aroma and flavor that way. So after warming the syrup, I'm gonna add 1.5 teaspoons of the extract and 1 tablespoon of rum. You could absolutely leave out the rum, make it alcohol-free, no problem at all. But I do like the flavor. So that's the syrup. I can smell the buns in the oven. They're almost done. It smells so good. So they've been in for about 15 minutes. I would say they need another 1 or 2 minutes. I'm gonna let them cool here and then move on to whipping the cream and assembling our Maritozzi. I hope I'm saying that right. I don't really speak Italian. I want these to cool. Ow. They're hot. So these are going to cool before we can fill them. And in the meantime, I'm gonna whip the cream for the filling. So I have right here to help me fill the buns, just a pastry bag. And then for the cream, I also have confectioner's sugar. I'm using Halala Vanilla paste. I love being able to see in anything where there's like a, it's like a creamy mixture, whether it's like a custard or a whipped cream, I love being able to see the specks of vanilla in it. So the brioche is not terribly sweet on its own. The syrup is obviously sweet, so I'm going to very lightly sweeten the cream. And when I'm sweetening a whipped cream of any kind, confectioner's sugar is the best choice because it dissolves basically instantly, so you won't have any grit. I'm using equal parts mascarpone and heavy cream. And traditionally, I think it is just like a very basic, plain whipped cream that gets spooned inside, but I like the little bit of tang and like cheesiness from mascarpone and a little bit of density. So to this, I'm gonna add just a pinch of salt, which I always add to bring out the flavor. So the paste is this beautiful suspension of vanilla seeds in essentially extract, right? So you get the best of everything. You get the seeds like from the whole bean plus the extract, and it's so easy to use, no scraping. This stuff is my favorite. I'm gonna scrape the spoon because I don't want to waste any of the seeds. So to whip the cream, I'm gonna wait until the end to add the powdered sugar and sort of add it to taste. And I'm gonna start to whip this on low speed. Use a bigger bowl than this. This is the biggest glass bowl I have. So I love seeing all the little vanilla specks in there. I think I'm gonna add more. I think I want more vanilla in it. And so now I just want to increase the speed gradually as the mixture thickens. And I also want a fairly stiff whipped cream because we are really going to smooth the cream like across the surface of the buns. And so you want something that holds its shape really well. I stopped at soft peaks, so the cream is whipped, but it doesn't quite hold its shape and it makes kind of droopy mounds. So at this stage is when I like to add my powdered sugar. And I think I'm just gonna start with a couple tablespoons, and that's probably enough. One thing that I think people don't realize about sugar is that it's a flavor enhancer. So I'm not just adding sweetness, but I'm helping to bring out all the flavors of the cream and the mascarpone and the vanilla. Once you get to soft peaks, it doesn't take a whole lot of time to get to firm peaks. So keep an eye on it and try not to over whip it. Okay, so here we are. We are at firm peaks. The vanilla specks it's so good. Look at how delicious that looks. I'm gonna get my cream into my pastry bag. What's nice about having a little mascarpone in your whipped cream is that it does help to stabilize it. So here's my pastry bag. I'm gonna twist it close. That twisting kind of forces everything down toward the point. And then this can be set aside. And let's check on the buns. I think they might be ready to split and soak. Now for the look of these buns, what you want is there's like an opening. So you basically cut a line through the center of the bun or maybe slightly off center, open it up and fill it with cream. And then that cream gets totally smoothed over so it looks like it's just part of the bun. I'm gonna go slightly off center. If you've ever scored a loaf of bread, It's kind of the same idea where like you want to do it slightly off center. And I'm going to cut down toward the center line, but not all the way through. So just like that. And then when you fill that opening. My vanilla rum syrup, I'm going to open up the buns. You can see how beautiful that crumb looks. I'm going to give it just a dab on the cut sides with the syrup. This helps to prevent staling. It obviously is adding flavor, a little bit of sweetness. You don't have to use a pastry bag to fill these. You can just kind of spoon the cream in by hand, but it does make filling much easier. So I cut about a 3/4 inch opening. And I'm just going to take the buns and one by one pipe the cream into that crevice, like so. And then smooth it across the surface. So it just looks like it's part of the texture of the bun itself. I mean, that looks great, but I actually kind of want more cream. So I'm going to try to fill it even more generously than that. You're going to take it, open it up at that hinge, keeping it attached. You're going to pipe down, and then you want to sort of over pipe so that you can scrape off the excess. I like doing this with my offset spatula. You could use a butter knife. There you go. Cutest little bun ever.
It looks hard to eat.
It's actually easy to eat.
Well, I mean, by flavor?
No, like logistically. Let's finish them here, and then while you dust them with powdered sugar, I will grab a serving plate for them. You can go light or heavy, up to you. I'll grab a serving platter.
Is that enough?
So I think that's perfect. Beautiful. Just a nice little finishing touch. I think Pac-Man. I think that's what I've been thinking of the whole time. It's like a Pac-Man bun. So there's that interior. Cute.
Adorable.
All right. Thank you for coming a very, very long way.
Thank you for having me.
to be here.
I'm going to get this vanilla cream bit. Lovely and light.
Deceptively light. Could really put some of these away. I just love the vanilla. Vanilla with mascarpone. Such a good combination, and not too sweet.
No. They say vanilla is like the salt of baking.
Yes, totally.
Sometimes you don't know if it's there, but you know if it's not there.
Absolutely. So I'm really glad that we got to try these because it's a baked good I've been wanting to make for a long time. And it's really the perfect blank canvas to show off the incredible flavor of Halala Vanilla. So I want to thank Jennifer and everyone at Halala for sponsoring the episode and just making such a superlative product that I love to use all the time. Don't forget to check out the code below. Go to halalavanilla.com. You can use the code to get 20% off any regular priced item. Check out all their products. They're incredible. Don't forget to like and subscribe.